Hello students, let's begin chapter 4 of our political science, that is understanding laws. So let's begin with the introduction.
Chapter number 4, Understanding Laws. An anarchic state is almost like a jungle, where power is the only criterion for survival and the weak is always at the mercy of the mighty. To check the arbitrary and autocratic conduct of the powerful few, the foresighted members of the society developed a set of rules and regulations for all, which is termed as law of the land in context of a country. Thus, law is critical to regulate our life as well as to guarantee liberty for all. Law, in simple words, means a system of rule which is important for governing a civilized society or country. It involves implementing new set of laws or reframing old ones in the interest of the country. Rule of law. At the time of framing of the Constitution, members of the Constituent Assembly stated explicitly that in independent India, there would be no possibility for arbitrary use of authority, as arbitrary use of power infringes upon basic principles of democracy. To ensure rule of law, the framers made quite a few provisions in the Constitution. The most important provision among these was that all people are equal before the law, irrespective of religion, region, caste or gender. Whether it is a government official or a wealthy business person or the president of the country, nobody is over or above the law. In fact, there is a well-recognized process to deal with any violation of law and to penalize the guilty. The Supreme Court acts as the guardian of the Constitution and upholds the law of the country. Laws in ancient India. Let us look at the societal laws prevalent in ancient India and how they were different from the current laws. In ancient times, there were numerous overlapping local laws and various communities enjoyed different levels of autonomy in administering these laws. Religious background and caste were often the criteria for fixing the penalty to be rewarded, and it was not unusual for two people getting dissimilar punishments for the same crime. In general, people from the lower segments of the society were more harshly penalized. Post-independence era. After independence, the Constitution served as the framework for our elected representatives to make laws. Since independence, with changing times, innumerable new laws have been made and old ones have been ratified. One such law is the Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, according to which female members enjoy equal share in family property. Similarly, many new laws related to controlling pollution, assuring employment opportunities to all, protecting consumer rights, right to information, etc. have been enacted from time to time. Making of new laws. In India, Parliament plays a crucial role in preparing and executing laws. A law is at first introduced in the form of a bill. A bill is a proposal for a new law. There are two types of bills. An ordinary bill, that is, draft proposal for ordinary legislation, can be introduced in any house. Money bill contains provisions related to tax regulation, borrowing of money by government, budget, etc., and can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha can sit over a money bill only for 14 days. After the expiry of the given time period, the bill is assumed to be passed by the Rajya Sabha. As discussed, since independence, the Parliament has played a critical role in the enactment of laws. At times, diverse social or welfare groups do express their concern and put pressure on the government to enact laws for the general welfare of the public. In such cases, the government needs to be receptive and understanding towards the troubles of the public, but at the same time, it should not be inclined towards any particular faction. Let us see how the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2006 was passed. Throughout the 1990s, various forums raised their voice to stop this abuse of women within the household. In 1999, a lawyers' collective constituting lawyers, law students, and activists from across the country prepared a draft of the Domestic Violence Prevention and Protection Bill. Though this bill was introduced in the Parliament in 2002, it did not satisfy the need of the victims of domestic violence. As a result, many women organizations and National Commission for Women made submissions to the Parliamentary Standing Committee suggesting changes. After a lot of deliberation, the bill was tabled in December 2002 and eventually most of the demands of the women's group were accepted. Finally, in 2005, a new bill was reintroduced and it became a law in 2006. Thus, we can realize that citizens of a country play a crucial role in the framing of the legislations. By expressing their concerns and expectations, they ensure that framers of the law have taken into account the need of its citizens. Actually, the opinion of the people that is voiced through radios, televisions, newspapers, demonstrations, etc. put pressure on the government for quick implementation of legislations. Similarly, the media highlights passing of certain legislations and this makes the course of lawmaking transparent to the people. The lawmaking procedure. First reading. A member introduces an ordinary bill in any of the houses of the Parliament. Second reading. The bill is discussed in detail and changes are recommended. The bill is sent to Select Joint Committee, where members of both the House of Parliament thoroughly discuss it. Third reading. The bill is redrafted after including the suggested changes and placed before the House. If 50% member vote in favor of the bill, it is sent to the other house for approval, where it goes through the same process. It might even suggest some changes. If changes are unacceptable in the house where the bill originated, a joint session is summoned by the President. At this session, decision is taken by majority votes of total number of members of both the houses. The bill is sent to the President for his assent. The President can suggest changes which the Parliament may or may not accept. The bill is then sent back to the President. The President signs the bill. The bill becomes a law. Unpopular and controversial laws. We often come across legislations that upset and annoy a huge segment of population, and as a result, they condemn the government. Such laws are constitutionally valid but unjust or biased in nature. In a democratic setup like ours, people are free to criticize repressive laws passed by the Parliament, and this they can do by organizing protest marches, writing editorials, and conducting discussions in open forums. A law opposed by a greater part of the population has to be either reframed or changed altogether. For example, street vending is regarded as illegal as per municipal laws. On the other hand, it is a source of livelihood for a vast majority in India. Moreover, they also sell certain essential commodities at cheap prices, so their usefulness cannot be denied. However, encroachment of pavement by hawkers and street vendors is a big problem. Hence, government should frame laws that are beneficial to all sections of the society. Those who feel that a certain law overlooks their interest can move the goat. The goat, being the guardian of the Constitution, can ask framers of law to change legislations that go against the principles enshrined in the Constitution. Thus, rapid action by alert citizens plays a significant role in amending controversial laws or framing of new ones. We need to remember that in democracy, people play a vital role in electing representatives who make important decisions on their behalf. However, the role of people is not restricted to electing their representatives. They also observe the functioning of the government through various media and criticize their actions as and when required. Transparency in the relationship between the people and their representatives allows smooth functioning of democratic process. Besides, the right to information, that is RTI Act, ensures that government and its agencies cannot hide anything other than that related to national security from the public and make laws that are unreasonable. Similarly, power to file public interest litigation, that is PIL, gives authority to the common man to seek stay or termination order on a law that is contradictory to public interest.